One of the things that just about everybody gets wrong about like an agency is that you need to constantly provide traffic in order to have a successful agency. This could not be farther from the truth, okay? Let me tell you this right now. This could not be farther from the truth. You do not need to drive traffic in order to have a successful OnlyFans management agency, okay? We scaled 180 models in 3 months, and of those 180 models, we provided no traffic. Our churn rate on that, well, considering this was just a couple months ago, I don't really have the data on it, but our previous agency that we had, probably 2 years ago or whatnot, when we initially scaled an agency, we had a churn rate of like 2.5, upwards of 3 years. Crazy, okay? And none of it is derived from driving traffic. So there's this false mental construction that if you want to take on a ton of OF creators, you need to have a ton of different traffic methods and you need to be able to dedicate traffic to each one of the creators. And this is false, okay? That is essentially taking a vertical scale ideation and trying to horizontally scale it. Okay, let me kind of make this make sense. So if I have 10 girls, for an example, and I need to divide traffic amongst these 10 girls, let's use easy numbers and let's say every Instagram account that I make these creators, I get one subscriber from, okay? So I have 10 creators, 10 Instagram accounts, okay? One Instagram account every OF creator. I'd be driving in agency whole 10 subs a day. Per model basis, 1 sub, okay? Now, it would make 1.5 million times more sense to take all of these accounts and allocate them to one creator. Have one creator doing 10 subs a day. Okay, that's vertical scale. All right, horizontal scale, it makes 0 sense because that means more time, more effort, more resources, more chatters on per page. And I get it at like 1 sub a day. You can have 1 chatter probably on all the accounts. I get that. What I mean is like, let's say each one of them is doing 30 subs a day. Okay, that doesn't make sense from your Instagram accounts. You put them all on one account and then you vertically scale, and that makes sense. Okay, so then what does that mean for the agency? If it doesn't make sense to provide traffic for each one of them, then what does that mean? Well, for first and foremost, it means that you only look at horizontally scalable options. Any type of internal marketing is a no-go. It doesn't make sense because your margins, your input to output ratio do not make sense whatsoever in any galaxy. There is no point in combining a vertical scale model into a horizontally scaled model or a horizontally scaled model into a vertically scaled model. Neither of those make sense, okay? So like what do you do then? Well, like I just said, you create operations that are horizontally scalable. So what do those look like? They're operations that do not have a direct impact on your team's resources on an exponential level. So what I mean by this is like, if you start pushing a ton of traffic into like one page, okay, you need exponentially more chatters in order to be able to handle it, okay? If you start up a Reddit operation on the back end, in order for you to scale a creator to more than 10 subs a day through Reddit, for an example, you need more accounts. So you need to exponentially increase that for exponential results, okay? Your input and your output. So the marketing acquisitions, let me kind of just explain what kind of marketing acquisitions you would run. First and foremost, you can run OFTV. And the reason why you can run OFTV is because you only need one assignee per 50 to 100 girls. Now, what does that look like? That manager is going to identify all of the creators that want to be on OFTV. And then she is going to send each one of them video ideas, scripts, essentially brand and niche them for OFTV. And then all those creators have to do is then just make those videos, right? And you can make it really easy. You can have one manager per 10 creators, right? In an ideal situation, that would make the most sense. But you can essentially create a template that is constantly updating of new video ideas, okay? And then this whole template is sent to every single creator because every creator that films the same video, it's still gonna be a wildly unique video. If it just says cooking video, creator 1 might do brownies, creator 2 might do cookies, creator 3 might do, I don't know, jellyfish, making jellyfish or something, okay? So every single creator is going to have their own unique idea on what this topic means as long as it's broad enough, right? So you can essentially onboard every creator, send them the exact same template, and then tell the creator exactly what to do in like a video, right? So you could onboard somebody, essentially send them a ClickUp document that's like, okay, here's your video ideas, and then here is exactly what I need you to do. And then once you do that, you're gonna submit the videos into this drive. And then your editor is gonna immediately see anything that comes into this drive, right? That's a very simple thing to do, okay? Then that could be scaled horizontally. Your personal input has nothing to do with this operation. You can have a few managers that completely manage the entire operation, and it's not an operation that can even scale vertically. right? You cannot scale OFTV vertically at all whatsoever. I mean, you can. We kind of talk about the licensing group, like some gray hat ways for OFTV, but in reality, it's not an operation that you scale vertically. So then what else do you do? Well, you send them SOPs on platforms that they're going to run themselves. Okay, and I know it sounds like counterintuitive. You're like, hey, come sign with me, and then I'm gonna have you do everything. But whether it's in this video or the previous video when we talked about our sales calls, you understand the frame at which we sign these creators. We don't sign these creators under the impression that, and if that video is not up yet, it will come. I have a video releasing or it's released on sales calls. But the point is, you don't frame your conversation or the model or the business model around like marketing channels. So there's these unique things that you do. So I understand that it sounds counterintuitive, but you never the creator doesn't sign with you because of marketing channels. You're not driving traffic to them. So then anyway, every day you have a manager that sends them Instagram reel video ideas that they can film themselves. This works. Or two, you develop something in Make/Airtable and Telegram automation that sends video ideas into a Telegram group that you add every single creator to, not or a channel, not a group, so that they don't communicate with each other. And then every single day that those creators can just create those videos. And then you do the same thing for Reddit, for an example. This is the exact SOP that I want you to follow on an organic Reddit account. I want you to create this Reddit account and I want you to do these things, okay? And these can be video format SOPs or they can be document formatted SOPs. The point is you send a single thing that can be duplicated over and over and over and over and over on every single creator, TikTok, Instagram, so on. And I know this is probably how most people manage and operate, but they manage and operate after they have sold the girl into marketing channels, right? So you want to stay step one. Don't sign girls into, convincing them that you're running all of the marketing and stuff for them and whatnot, but because you're not, you know what I mean? So anyway, then you just need to essentially take the creators, and then your main and primary job is to just make sure that they are getting the best results per unit, okay? So every lead that comes in, they need to be getting the best LTV possible out of every single one of those leads. That's like the name of the game. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but I'm telling you right now, like it absolutely works, okay? Let's say a fan comes in and you have a $5 LTV on these guys. Then your primary job is to make sure that all of the work that they do is actually being capitalized on. That's it. That's all you need to do. And what that means is you have a collection of chatting agencies on your back end, whether it's like 5 or 6 or 10, 15 chatting agencies that you know, and you let the model know preemptively that I'm gonna be rotating your chat team every 24 to 48 hours until we find the chat team that just simply performs the best with your fans. Does that make sense? So then all you are ever actually doing is horizontally scaling with SOPs that just are very organic SOPs, because organic is never going to get taken a hit, right? As soon as you start scaling vertically in a horizontal model, you have every acquisition that just gets wiped, right? Or there's a chance of just every acquisition completely getting wiped. And then it also makes sense with like the service fee that you take, if it's 15, 25, 30%, whatever you take, since you're not driving the traffic, everything like genuinely makes sense. Then you're just making sure that their management is good, that they're on the best chat team. Your goal is not to make them famous. Your goal is to just take what they already have and emphasize on it. So one of the things that we have done and experimented with in the past that worked kind of well was a back-end repurposing team where we just simply repurpose their Instagram content, taking a jailbroken iPhone, creating a bunch of Instagram accounts, and then downloading all of their videos, having a VA team simply source all their content off their current accounts, take Fusion, and then redistribute. It's not necessarily a bad idea. It's a vertical scale model in a horizontal business. And as long as you never promise X results, you can get away with it and you can increase earnings quite a bit. Anyway, so I guess I would just say but it's not necessary. You know what I mean? It's things that you can do to just kind of increase your income, but then you kind of turn into the vertical stuff. But the main point of this video is you're an agency, not a traffic provider. And in a business model that is a 100% profit business model, because product and fulfillment is technically free, it almost doesn't make sense. It does not make sense at all to try and drive traffic to an account that's only doing $30,000 a month with their own personal brand that's funding or fueling the business model in and of itself, if that makes sense. So I hope this kind of makes sense in regards to like the agency model and kind of how we run it, really just emphasizing, optimizing their account to just increasing earnings. And I have tons of videos on that type of stuff. But other than that, I hope this video makes sense. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to just leave a comment down below or whatever. But I will see you guys next video.